Welcome to qnawire.
Hello, in this question we have been given 3 blue pens, 2 red pens and 3 green pens, and we need to select 2 pens randomly. Event X denotes the number of blue pens selected and event Y denotes the number of red pens selected. And in the A part we need to first find the probability function, basically the joint probability function. So first we need to know what joint probability function is. So the joint probability function says that to find the probability of the 2 pens selected out of these total n pens in every case, like there could be different cases, like we could select two blue pens and 0 other pens, or we can select 2 red pens, or we can select 2 green pens, or we can select 1 blue pen or 1 red pen, or 1 blue pen or 1 green pen, and so on and so forth. So to combine all those possibilities in terms of x and y, we find the probability function. Okay, so let us first find that. So let us first assume that our capital X or small x is same. So basically let us find the value of x, what x could take. So we know that x is the number of blue pens selected, and blue pens is just 3. So x could be equal to 0, 1 or 2. Why? Because we can either select 0 blue pen or 1 blue pen or 2 blue pen. So x could be equal to 0, 1, 2. Similarly, y could be again equal to 0, 1, 2, because we can max to max select 2 pens, or we know that x plus y is equal to total number of blue and red pens selected, and that couldn't exceed 2. So we can write that x plus y could be equal to 0 to 2. Okay. Now we know that to select two overall pens, we could select x. We know that the total blue pen selected is equal to x. So in our probability function, we would have x, the ways of selecting x pen out of 3 pens would be equal to 3cx. Now to select y pens out of 2 red pens, the probability would be y 2cy. This would be the ways. Sorry. Now we know that the total pen selected is equal to 2. So we can write that x plus y plus number of green pens selected would in total would be equal to 2. Or we can also write that the green pens selected would be equal to 2 minus x plus y. Okay, so this would be our total cases. So we can write 3c 2 minus x plus y. Now we know that in probability, in the denominator we need to write the total cases. So our total cases would be 8c2. Why? Because we have total 8 pens and we need to select 2 pens out of it. So our total probability would be 8c2. Okay, so this would be our joint probability function, which is 3cx multiplied by 2cy multiplied by 3c2 minus x plus y and 8c2. Okay, we can also write it as this or this. Okay, and we must remember that whenever we have n and r like this, or we also call it at ncr, which is whose formula is equal to n factorial upon r factorial multiplied by n minus r factorial. Okay, so in this way we can calculate the different values by putting x and y. So first of all, let us find where x is equal to 0 and y is also equal to 0. Let us find the value for that. Okay, so when x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, this is equal to f x comma y. Okay, so our f 0 comma 0 would be equal to 3 0, then 2 0, then 3 2, because x and y is 0, divided by 8 2. So let us find the values using this formula. So our 3 0 would be equal to 3 factorial upon 0 factorial, and 3 minus 0 factorial, which is equal to 3 factorial. By cancelling this we get 1. Similarly for 2 0 also we'll get 1 only. Let us find for 8c2 and 3 2. So for 3c2 we'll get 3 factorial upon 2 factorial into 1 factorial, which would be equal to 3 into 2 factorial upon 2 factorial. By cancelling this we get 3. And for 8(2) or 8c2, we get 8 factorial upon 2 factorial into 8 minus 4, 8 minus 2, which is equal to 6 factorial, which would be equal to 8 into 7 into 6 factorial upon 2 factorial multiplied by 6 factorial, which is equal to 2 4 side, which is finally equal to 28. Okay, so we can say that this would be equal to 3 divided by 28. Okay, so like this we can make a table where x would take the values from 0 to 2 and y would also take the values from 0 to 2. Okay, so let us make the table for xy. This would be our table for the probability function, given probability function. Okay, so here x could take 0 or 1 or 2. Okay, and this would be the total fyy. Okay, and again our y could take the three values 0 and 1 and 2. Okay, and this would be the value of total fxx. Okay, so here for when x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0, we have found that this came out to be 3 by 28. Similarly, when y is equal to 1 and x is equal to 0, this would, when you will calculate, this would come out to be 6 by 28. Again, this would come out to be 3 by 28. And then this would come out to be 9 by 28, and this would come out to be 6 by 28. This would come out to be 3 by 28. Now we know that this would come out to be 0 0 and 0 when you will use it, and then because in this case we are selecting all the pens from the given given box. Now let us find its total. So its total would be 10 by 28. This is 1 by 28. Okay, I'm sorry, this would be equal to 1 by 28. 1 by 28. So this would finally be equal to 10 by 28. This would be equal to 15 by 28. We'll need that further to calculate the other parts. This would be equal to 3 by 28. This would be equal to 15 by 28. 15 by 28. This would be equal to 12 by 28, and this would be equal to 1 by 28, and in total this would all would be equal to 1, because we know that for any event the total probability is equal to 1. Okay, so this would be our A part. This is the answer for our A part. Let us see what to calculate in our B part. Okay, so in B part we need to first calculate the EX. Now to find the EX, we know that the formula to find EX is equal to sorry, the formula to find EX is equal to sigma or summation of x into fx into x. Okay, fx for when x is equal to 0. So basically let us find that. So we know that we have three values of x as 0 1 and 2. So its value would be 0 multiplied by 0 multiplied by f0 0, then plus 1 multiplied by f1 into 1 plus 2 multiplied by, where x is equal to 2, this would be equal to f2 2. Okay, so when x is equal to 0, our f0 when x was 0, it was equal to 10 by 28. So let us put 10 by 28 here. Then 1 multiplied by f1 when x is equal to 1, so that was equal to 15 by 28. So that here it would be equal to 15 by 28. And when our x is equal to 2, our f2 was 3 by 28, so that would be equal to 3 by 28. Okay, when we'll calculate all this, our final answer would be equal to 3 by 4. So that this is equal to our EX. Now let us find the EY in the same way. So its formula would be the formula for EY would be sigma or summation of y into fy. Okay, so again we'll write same as this. So this would be equal to 0 multiplied by 15 by 28, then 1 multiplied by 12 by 28, and last but not the least 2 multiplied by 1 by 28. Okay, this was 1 by 28, so this is equal to 1 by 28. Okay, so this is equal to, finally its answer would be equal to 1 by 2. So this is our ey. Now we need to find the variance of x and y. So for that we need to first find e of x square, and that would be equal to sigma x square multiplied by fx into x. Okay, so this would be equal to let's do it here. So here everything is same, just x is converted to x square. So this would finally be equal to 0, just a second, 0 square multiplied by 15 by 28 in the first case. This would be 0 square multiplied by 10 by 28 like in first case. Then 1 square multiplied by 15 by 28. And last but not the least, 2 square multiplied by 3 by 28, and this would finally come out to be 27 divided by 28. Okay, now let us find ey square, e of y square, and that would be equal to sigma of y square fyy, and this would be equal to 0 square multiplied by 15 by 28, then 1 square multiplied by 12 by 28, and then 2 square multiplied by 1 by 28, and this would finally be equal to 4 by 28. Okay, sorry, 4 by 7. This would finally be equal to 4 by 7. This is our 4 by 7. Now let us find the variance of x. So variance of x is basically equal to e of x square minus e of x ka whole square. Okay, so we have found both of the things. Our e of x square was 27 by 28 minus our e of x was 3 by 4, so its square would be 3 by 4 ka whole square, and that would finally be equal to 45 by 112, and this is our answer. And for variance of y, we'll write it as ey square minus ey ka whole square, and that would finally be equal to 4 by 7 minus 1 by 2 whole square, and that would finally be equal to 9 by 28. So our final answers are, let us write the final answers. So first of all, our probability function is equal to 2x, 2cx, sorry, this was 3 because there were 3 red pens. So this was equal to 3x, then 2y, then 3, 2 minus x minus y upon 8, 2. This was our probability function, and the different values were ex was equal to 3 by 4, ey was equal to 1 by 2, variance just a second, variance of x was equal to 45 by 112, and variance of y was equal to 9 by 28. This was our final answer. Hope this answered your question. Thank you.